welcome to a slightly technical video which is going to be slightly relaxed today. It's going to be different. This is one of those community videos where we're going to do some storytelling. We're going to talk about the future of the channel, future of the Slightly Technical Academy, and I also want to touch upon some of the things that have happened in the past week or so. Usually I suggest you go grab a beverage because I have my shroom cup which is empty, so I have another cup filled with something. And yeah, spend the next few minutes with me just listening to me talk about some great stuff. Let's hang out. So I hope you're ready. Let's go. The first thing that I would like to touch upon today is sort of what happened in the last week or so, because you know that I'm quite new to this whole YouTube thing, and I'm really working hard on all the videos, the way how I'm presenting, the way how I speak, what I say, and so on and so on. And I try to make all these things better. The more I do it, the more I'm relaxed, the better my presentations are, the better I translate all the messages that I'm supposed to be translating. So I'm quite new to this thing, and a lot of new things have happened in the last week. I got some sponsorship offers, which I respectfully declined because I'm not ready for that kind of stuff yet. I'm not interested in some products that I don't need. I'm not really, this channel is really about education. It is not really about gear reviews, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Now what happened is I made one of these videos where I'm wearing my flowery shirt and I'm talking about whatever. I just made some funny thumbnail and a funny name for a video where I'm just expressing some of the opinions regarding YouTube, the future of guitar YouTube, and so on. And some YouTubers actually responded to my video. And the funny thing is, it was the absolutely most wrong group of YouTubers that was kind of provoked a little bit, and I'm sorry for that, honestly, and that's why I just wanted to quickly respond to this. So Jared from Tone Wars made a video about my video. I commented on the video, and he made a response video to my comment and a lot of these comments, and since I'm not a commenter guy, I don't feel like commenting. I'm totally up for discussions, but I don't know, maybe it's a cultural thing. I never felt like I should be commenting unless I can bring something to the conversation. I never comment bad things. If I don't like something, I move on and that kind of stuff. So, but I'm learning to comment more, you know, when I like something, just to make like supportive comments, because now I realize that it actually means at least a little bit to us who are doing these things and spending the time making videos, editing, uploading, you know, making thumbnails and that kind of stuff. It takes time, you know, and effort. Now, Jared made these videos, and I would like to now just express my gratitude. So Jared, thank you. You were super nice, super respectful. Videos were great. I watched your second video, and that's sort of why I have the desire to quickly respond to that, because you responded to a bunch of comments in your video. People made a lot of these comments where they are basically disrespecting the shit out of you. They're insulting your privacy. I really take the hat off to you, how you are respectful to these people and how you actually give them any attention. Unfortunately, I also used to have, now it's like far less because my videos have gotten better, but people are really hard on you whenever you just post something. And I mean, this is work in progress. I understand if I don't do something well, it's fine. But these people are just ignorant assholes. Just like the comments that you were reading are like fully, it is a disaster. And I'm making this video sort of like, what's the fucking point, Marco? So, because it felt at least a little bit that because of the nature of some of my videos that I made, where I criticized the Anderton's channel a few times, and you know, it somehow feels now that a certain group of haters, which is pretty much a very small group, but a group that's very loud, that comments on everybody's videos. I don't want anyone from that group, that if you feel like you're one of these people who thinks that you have the right to insult any YouTuber or make these comments because it's available, if you think that you have the right to do that, I don't want any of you to feel that I'm in any way on your side, then you completely miss the point of my videos, and probably, and I will say this completely honestly, you should unsubscribe from this channel immediately, because if you don't have the capacity to understand my videos and what I'm saying in my videos, and if you think that I solely made these videos to criticize somebody else's channel and stuff like this, then possibly the stuff that is upcoming on this channel will be far too complicated to your chicken brains, all right? And Jared is far too respectful to a lot of things that have been said on this channel. I will not tolerate them. I don't know if I'm right about that, but I will not. I just don't care. The moment I've seen that there's some people arguing in the comments, defending me and my channel, you know, arguing with some other people, and the situation was like, I was reading this and I was like, no, no, you're not gonna make this a shitty place, a messy place where people are going to be arguing. No, if you don't like it, move on. It's absolutely fine. If you have some criticism about the topics that I'm explaining, about the way how I present something, for sure, give me bring the arguments. The funny thing is that I never see any arguments in these comments. It's only people who, unfortunately, these people are most probably very unhappy and unsatisfied, have a lot of problems in their life, and I'm just saying, if you think that it's that you have the right to insult somebody or somebody's privacy, like, all these things about Jared and, comments on money and stuff like that, I mean, like, no, you don't have the right. You don't have the right to do things like that to anybody. That's at least my opinion, and yeah, that's that. So we're not gonna be talking about that more. Jared, thank you. I thank all the other YouTubers who were making these videos, and I'm really sorry that it somehow ended up being that I felt that, am I the leader of these haters? Like, that's not what I'm talking about on this channel, which brings us sort of to the point of this channel and why I made this channel. I have to explain these things, all right? So, the channel that I made, that I'm running now, it sort of started as a supplement to the website that I started, and I made a channel that I wish existed when I started off doing these things. And pretty much this channel is about education. Now, I also wanted to just quickly touch upon one thing, because I got some offers to do some gear reviews, and I'm not interested in doing gear reviews. But realistically, when I watch my previous videos, whether I like it or not, I was doing gear reviews in some funny way, like I would obviously make a funny thumbnail and a name, and I would use the Anderton's channel, or any other channel, just some example for a certain pedal, just so I can talk about educational stuff, just so I can talk a little bit about the circuit and stuff like that. So the point was not watching the Anderton's channel. The point was not making the comment, oh, Pete and whatever his name is, Lee, they suck, they don't know how to dial in a tone. Oh, really? They don't know how to dial in a tone, and So, that's not the point. Yes, I made a few critiques, but, the point is education on this channel. But I thought about something, and I need your opinion on this. Whoever is watching the channel, I want you to let me know if I ever did a piece of gear, like a review of a piece of gear, which is for sure not going to be, as I say, the main thing on the channel, but I don't want to exclude that as a possibility, because the way how I see it, it might be an okay idea, maybe, to make a review of a piece of gear, but just only if it's in some way special, so we can actually explain some of the electronics and some stuff that's happening, using a little bit of maybe LT Spice, using a little bit of like testing, EQ curves and stuff like that. In my opinion, currently, how I see it, I think that's not a bad idea. I was actually approached by someone who has a rather original, a special pedal, and he wants to make a bunch of these pedals, and he thought he wanted me to do a review on this, and I told him this exact thing that I'm explaining now, that I'm not a gear review channel, and I want to figure out a way how to do this review that it's going to be authentic and original and just not like other gear review channels, because there's a bunch of them who do that and on different levels, but there's a bunch of good ones who do that, and you'll be able to hear that whole thing. So that I'm just laying out some of my opinions. I need your opinion on this. So the question is, write it down in the comments. How would you like me to do a review of a piece of gear, and would you like me to do a review of a piece of gear at all? All right, so that was the question, and that sort of now I remember that there was another thing that I actually wanted to mention, and it is the fact that I don't really talk about myself pretty much ever on this channel, that I don't even mention my name in the beginning of the videos. I did that on the few, I guess, the previous few videos, but before that I was not even mentioning my name. In general, listen, I didn't make this channel so I can just talk about myself, but apparently storytelling and different styles of videos, it is a part of it, and maybe it's the right time now to introduce myself, like officially who I am, because this was sort of provoked because here's the thing. And I'm super honest about this and super realistic. I've been repairing, for example, cube amps for pretty much like about 10 years now, and people are really surprised, especially before. Like, so I'm 31 now, but before people would be like really surprised. Like, I would get some people who would bring me like a tube amp, and then we speak over the phone, and then they expect some older guy to come out of the house, and then they see me being 20 something, and they're shocked. Like, why the fuck do you work with tubes? Like, how do you even know what that is? Now, what I'm trying to say is that sometimes people make some comments. I understand that if I approach some engineering topics, I understand that people don't know really who I am, people don't know what I've been doing, and I understand that I need to earn your trust and the credibility to talk about certain things. So basically, I wanted to tell you, so officially my name is Marko, and I do come from the land of Serbia, which is located in the Balkans, and I have been blessed to have been doing many amazing things in my life, and basically everything happened so fast. The last 7, 8 years of my life were absolutely crazy because everything just moved so fast. I have worked in the music industry. I have left that particular job. I later on started playing guitar on a cruise ship, and pretty much when I came over there, they figured out, because I was doing freelancing, programming stuff, like audio programming, which is something that I actually have a degree in computer graphics, which I don't do. Like, the only thing from computer graphics that I do is editing these fucking videos for YouTube. But no, I'm joking. We did a lot of, obviously, programming over there, and in the end I got my diploma dissertation in audio, DSP. But I was learning electronics in parallel to my university days, and I was supposed to go get a degree in electronics, but I had to start working and make some money, so I just didn't do it. And unfortunately, the professor who wanted me to go to his master's, whatever you call it, unfortunately, he passed away. He's the father of my very good friend, and I inherited his attic full of electronics. So that also happened, which is absolutely crazy. So I have all his electronics and a bunch of stuff, which I have to sort out. But I just haven't had the time for over a year now. Well, I've been playing guitar on a cruise ship, and I started hating playing guitar. And I started working as an engineer on the cruise ship because they sort of saw me programming something. And I used to work for like 4 or 5 years as an officer on a cruise ship. I had like a rank. I was responsible for pretty much most of the safety systems on board, and had a quite a responsible job, and I was pretty much the youngest with that high of a rank. So sometimes it's a little bit of a struggle because, you know, people look at like the age thing, it's sort of weird for them. Like, they ask the question, are you qualified to do these things? And the degree that I have, and none of these things are important. The only thing that is important is that, you know, I earn your trust through some of the things that I do, which is something that I'm trying to do through this YouTube channel and through a lot of the things that we are going to be doing on the YouTube channel. But I'm just saying these things pretty much because I thought, you know, you should know who I am, what I've been doing. I've been doing that. So I've been like working in electronics, repairing everything from a radar, satellite communications, all the way to a fire door and stuff like that. But why I started making this YouTube channel is something that actually Jared said in his video, which was absolutely true. He mentioned in the video that the YouTube channel is an amazing outlet for him to express himself as a guitar player and as a musician. And one of the things that has happened to me in the last year or so, actually quite recently, is that I'm actually getting back to playing guitar. Playing guitar was a little bit problematic for me. I've never spoken about this on this channel, but I played so many gigs and I hated playing these gigs. I hated playing to a crowd who, like, they just don't care. There's like zero feedback. I'm not that guy. I want to compose. I want to work, you know, on like musical pieces. I want to produce stuff. And when I made certain produced tracks for YouTube, and when I started doing these things, I have to be honest with you, I've never felt better in my life. It makes me so happy that I'm just back to playing guitar. And obviously I started practicing a little bit more, and I'm relaxed again when I play guitar, because I was like very, very stiff. When I plug the camera in and when I start recording, when I have to play, I just like, I freeze, I forget everything. I don't know, there was something happened in my head in the last 5-6 years since I stopped playing in the band that I just started hating playing. I just don't, you know, I was repairing amps and I would obviously test the amplifier out, but I just never play. So this is a great thing for me. It is new, and like Jared said in his video, it's an amazing outlet where I can actually do music, and that is the main thing. That is the thing that actually makes me super, super happy. And all these other things, like for sure, I like making pedals, I like making amplifiers, modding, and we're gonna talk about that. And for sure, I want to make a living out of this, which is absolutely normal. You know, when people who comment on like the money thing, it's absolutely ridiculous to think that anybody is doing any of these things without the desire to somehow at least, you know, get a little bit of feedback, whether it's like financially or in any other way. So for sure, you know, if you like what I'm doing on this channel, that's sort of what I say. You've got the Slightly Technical Academy. Registration is for free. There's a lot of free knowledge to be had, and there will be a lot of more tech pages, stuff that I'm working on. Currently we have the Tone X packs, some of them which I will, the new ones that I'm gonna upload today, like modded Sound City stuff. What I do, I do like the boutique sort of modded stuff, like stuff that other people don't have, because again, I'm trying to be at least a little bit different, right? So basically, that's the way how you can support the channel. And coming to the Slightly Technical Academy, I would like to thank the entire community, because it's a rapidly growing community. It is much more rapid than I actually expected, and we are expecting changes to the website very soon. The developers are actually working on this. As I said, thank you for all the people who bought the Tone X packs, because it actually really means a lot to me. And you know, I think it's great. I still don't have any kind of donation thing. I think it's like too early. I understand that there are different channels have different ways of sort of like monetizing, but I feel it's great that, you know, you can get those, for example, the Tone X packs, because they're really, really, you know, packed, right? Tone X, like the Mesa Boogie is 28 tone models and the Angle is 20, and so like they're really, really like big, rich packs with, you know, I was speaking that I use a lot of different hardware that I made for reamping and that kind of stuff, but enough of that. Now, the Slightly Technical Academy is growing, and that makes me really happy, and very very, very soon, I will be releasing my first course, which is going to be about DIY, which will be followed with some other audio engineering courses, which I think will be really, really interesting. I required some time to practice, honestly, to practice doing videos, speaking to the camera, being a little bit more interesting, you know, not being, you know, not speaking in a monotone voice, not being boring and that kind of stuff. So it is what's happening on the Slightly Technical Academy. I'm the only one doing this. I do have somebody who is developing the website, but sorry guys, it's sometimes it's just slow. It takes a lot of time to do all these things. But I thank everybody who is on the academy, and I honestly thank you for supporting, and really cool stuff is coming up soon. I promise you that. Now, a very quick thing that I wanted to mention is something that I don't really mention on this channel because I don't really think it's very important, but I was super blessed to have been a part of GitCon, the first GitCon in 2017. I was one of the people who were there as like helpers and volunteers to help out with the technical things, and I had this amazing opportunity to actually meet most of the YouTubers that were active back in the day, spend some time with them. I heard, you know, a bunch of good stuff, good stories. We had actually a great time. It was a weird period for me. I think that at the time I was absolutely a crazy person because I was sort of on my way up in life, if you know what I mean. I was doing like a private business and finishing university, and had a lot of struggles and that kind of stuff, but was an amazing opportunity, a life-changing like thing when I went to GitCon, because you know, for a kid to go there and just meet all the people that you have been following for quite a long time, it was super, super nice. I remember how my English was so bad back then, because I used to... So here's the thing. I first learned to write and read in English, and then in my mother's tongue. And I used to speak English really, really well when I was a kid. But there was a period when I didn't speak English. I used it with, you know, like I was playing Warcraft and writing in English, but I didn't speak English. I just didn't need to. And I remember coming to GitCon, and that first morning we came to breakfast. I was the one who came last, and I remember when I opened my mouth, I was like, oh, fuck, this is gonna be fucking hard, because, you know, in my language, you have, you know, completely different voices that you have to produce, like ch, sh, sh, stuff, which is weird, and English is so much softer, so it was really, really a struggle. But in any case, I met a lot of these YouTubers. With some of them I stayed in contact, but not with many of them, because I'm sort of that kind of guy. I don't, you know, I always felt like these people are doing their own thing. I don't want to force my, you know, like I'm supposed to be, like, are we supposed to be friends now? Maybe it's a cultural thing. Like, yeah, it's great. We met, we had some great time. I respect the shit out of it. But you know, I don't like this, like, small talk. I'm just like that. I'm direct. I don't like this, just, you know, what we are supposed to do now. Am I supposed to write to you some stupid shit? You've got work to do. I don't know. Maybe I'm right about it. Maybe I'm not. But the whole point is, because somehow I also feel that some people who watch the videos, they would say that I do a lot of guesswork and I don't know what I'm talking about. Well, I'm not claiming that I know what I'm talking about, but I'm just now telling you that I did have some experiences. I did have seen, been witness to a lot of things, stories, and so on and so on. So it's not really that I don't know anything about this stuff. So when I make some of these claims, it's not really like some guesswork by somebody who has no idea what he's talking about. I just wanted to say that. Another thing that I actually want to talk about is, here's the thing. I already mentioned this channel is about education, and sometimes I talk to myself Usually when they repair something, you know, like most people, repair people, technicians, they talk to themselves while they repair, which is absolutely fine. And, you know, I talk to myself and I say to myself, like, Marco, you picked the absolute worst topic for your YouTube channel, and that is explaining technical things to people who are mostly uninterested and scared of technical things. Now, what happens is that there are a lot of people, a lot of you guys who actually know some technical things and who welcome some of the knowledge that I'm bringing out in these videos. I understand underneath those thumbnails and underneath all that stupidity that is necessary for the YouTube channel to function, there is always some kind of knowledge to be had, which is the point why I make these videos. But sometimes I can't go super deep on topics, which is something that I was thinking about it, whether should it be like a podcast? Should it be some kind of long form that I do in this kind of format on a weekly basis where I can speak for an hour about something? Because sure, I can speak about the first gain stage, you know, for like 5 hours, no problem. We can discuss it, no problem. I'm all up for it. But you know, when you make a YouTube video and if you expect some people watch this YouTube video, you know, I have to simplify these things. And that is also sort of the point why I call it slightly technical, because it is going to be slightly technical. I don't want to bore people and make people reject the technical stuff, which is exactly the thing what professors do in school. You know, they just talk a lot of shit and they don't show you actually how it works. So what I'm trying to do, and I'm not saying that I do it well, I'm just saying that I'm trying to do it, and hopefully it will get better, right? Is I want to, you know, merge some of the musicianship and some of the technical things, because I think they're necessary, because they can work together and they can help out each other, mainly the technicality helping out the musicianship, where the thing that I don't like about a lot of YouTube presentations, no channels on my mind now, it is that it's like, we're not gonna get into the technical things because like that's boring and that's, you know, and then stuff is mystified. And then for somebody who knows some of the technical things, because obviously I've been building pedals and amps for like 10 years, I feel like just tell the people what it is. You know, we don't need to pretend that this is something that it is not. And that's just my philosophy, and that's how I make these videos, like occasionally just talking about some of the frequency responses, some of the technical things, and I'm gonna be doing a lot of DIY stuff, which is what I think is maybe even the future of it's not really the future, because obviously there's always going to be an industry, there's always going to be people who really don't have time for this stuff, but I feel like the DIY community is growing, and I feel like there should be a place where you can actually get really good information. Now, I'm obviously not the only place where you can get information. There's a lot of information to be had, especially from some websites that are from the 90s and the early 2000s, but unfortunately, as I've seen, some of the websites are disappearing, and also we require sort of like a different format. The other problem is I've been doing like, you know, I made I don't know how many big muff circuits and tested out I don't know how many of these combinations, whatever, and I want to share that experience because, you know, I did it for 10 years. You don't need to do it for 10 years to come to the same realization that, you know, I came to. So basically, that's the general idea. I think it's a lot of knowledge. It's really packed, and that's the thing that I'm sort of trying to offer you. And I'm saying all these things because sometimes I try to make my videos concise and shorter, so I would not bore people, whereas some people like to dive in certain topics, and you didn't explain this, you didn't explain that, you didn't explain this. Don't be unreasonable. These videos are watched by people who are at different levels. And I love all the people, all the engineers and technicians who are into this and watching this channel. I promise that I will be doing some of the more like advanced stuff, and we're gonna be having an opportunity to discuss all these things. But sometimes just I felt like some people got a little bit offended by me just explaining some of the basic stuff, like, this is public, you know, people are at different levels. The whole point is that people who are on a very low level come to realize that this is not hard, that's already a big plus. And hopefully, you know, that stuff is going to move on. So yeah, now I'm going to stop the video here. I think it was far too long. We're going to be having more of these discussion videos. I hope you like this. Subscribe to the channel if you're watching this for the first time, and you know, all that good stuff. You know everything. I love you all. So I'll be seeing you in the next video, just like tomorrow, probably.